there's a way to make an entrance.
This is my destiny.
It was now a conspiracy of witches.
Download Veely today.
The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders, an arson allegedly set by local gangs uncovers the actions of a reclusive anti-drug crusader.
She's going around sticking her nose in everyone's business.
The heinous plot of a die-hard partier.
You want the bottle so badly, go and drink it.
A tale of twisted family loyalty and revenge. And one dead body leaves police with the loathsome job of sifting through the ashes, looking for the murderer. Kimmy is a quiet, unassuming 55-year-old woman who recently retired from her job as a dental hygienist.
How we doing?
All right.
A little drowsy?
Yeah.
She built herself a nice little nest egg and had plans to spend the rest of her days enjoying her retirement. That was the plan until her house is torched. A gas-fueled inferno that could only be the work of arsonists.
So Gladys, you want to tell me what's going on here?
Listen, you got to do something about this woman.
Detective Grant, the responding officer, learns that Kimmy, while quiet, is very protective of her neighborhood.
She's going around sticking her nose in everyone's business, and it's just driving us all nuts.
She's been on a personal crusade to take down the drug dealers who are taking over her neighborhood. She's even gone as far as installing cameras on her porch to gather evidence against the drug dealers, and then sending the tapes to police to shame them into doing something. People were taking notice.
So here we have a quiet, middle-aged woman who likes to knit, who's decided to take the law into her own hands. In my experience as a former FBI agent, that is never a good idea. I get it. You want to do something. It's her neighborhood. But when you play with fire, you will get burned.
Fire! Fire!
Kimmy's house has been torched at least 2 times before, luckily without too much damage. But the drug dealer's scare tactics don't deter her. If anything, it fuels her personal fire to clean up her neighborhood.
She's the problem here, and you got to do something about it.
While some neighbors see Kimmy as a superhero with her anti-drug crusade,
We can't put up with this anymore.
I'll look into it.
others think she's being reckless, endangering the neighborhood further, and that she has to be stopped.
And today's top story, local woman being heralded as a hero after her home is burnt to the ground, and what police suspect is retribution by local drug dealers.
The news of Kimmy's heroic fight against the city's drug dealers goes citywide.
Neighbors say the woman was leading the fight against drugs and corruption in the community.
Throngs of well-wishers send money to cover her medical expenses. A contractor offers to rebuild her house. And the governor offers a reward for help with the case.
You're making me blush. Stop.
Overnight, she's gone from zero to hero.
When a case is splashed all over the news, it's a double-edged sword. It can be good and it can be bad. The good news is that it can drum up lots of leads and potential suspects. The bad news is it can drum up lots of leads because chasing those leads involves a lot of manpower, and most of the leads end up being dead ends. But the one thing you can always count on when the media is all over a case, it's going to put a lot of pressure on you to solve the crime, and fast. Hi, Kimmy.
Hello.
I'm Detective Grant.
Oh, nice to meet you.
With neighborhood interviews turning up little to no information, Detective Grant arrives at the hospital to question Kimmy.
You've become quite a sensation.
People have been very kind to me.
Yeah. So, have you had any arguments or disagreements with anyone in your neighborhood recently?
Not directly, no.
And this was your family home?
When the investigators interview victims or perpetrators, they're looking as much at how things are being said as what is being said. Is there anything that doesn't quite fit? And Kimmy does not come across as the reserved woman people claim she is. So what could this mean? Is it trauma from the fire? Is she still in shock? Or is there something else going on?
Do you think there's anyone else besides drug dealers who might have burned your house down?
No.
The one question the cops can't shake: if drug dealers wanted Kimmy out of the way for retribution, why would they burn her house down? It's just not their style.
Detective Grant reaches out to his informants
Yeah, it's Grant.
to size up if they know anything about both the fire and drug dealers who might have had a vendetta against Kimmy. But no one has even heard of her.
It makes sense that there are no solid leads coming from the street. I mean, junkies and drug dealers don't get revenge like that. More pokers are needed for this fire. These punks are more gun and knives people. Either way, they wouldn't risk the heat of killing a civilian. I'm no mathematician, but this doesn't add up.
Suspecting there's more to this crime than meets the eye, Detective Grant starts digging into Kimmy's personal life.
What you doing?
Hey, hi, sweetie. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Turns out she has a sister,
Enough of that.
Karen,
I'm making your favorite chocolate chip cookies.
You're so good to me.
who has lived with her for the past 15 years.
You're looking a bit wobbly there.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. Yeah.
And where Kimmy is reserved and quiet, Karen is a partier with shady friends and is known to make bad decisions.
I can see something
I
there.
have a favor to ask. I
Yeah,
have
shoot.
a
Shoot,
date
Luke.
tonight.
A date?
Yes.
All right. Maybe you should stop drinking so much before the date.
No, I'm just getting loose. I got a party hardy tonight
Oh,
because I'm going to impress
okay.
them.
The neighbors talk about how close the two sisters are, that they even look alike.
So I need to borrow $200 from you.
But they also often hear them arguing,
I just gave you $400.
I know, but that was just for living stuff.
especially over money.
It's going to be such a special night, please.
Kimmy supports Karen, giving her an allowance,
I'm gonna have to say that the door's closed on the bank today, Kimmy.
which she quickly burns
Don't
through.
look at me that way, please. I've done nothing but support you.
You know this is special and it means a lot to me.
You need to stop. I'm not gonna fight you over it. You want the bottle so badly? Go and drink it. Go on. That's where the money seems to be going anyway.
You're doing this.
I'm sorry. This is for your own good. How do they look? I don't wear them that often, so I'm going to depend on you.
Oh, they look fabulous.
Okay, and where do you want me to look for them?
Just straighten the lens and talk to your audience.
Okay.
And go.
I don't know who set fire to my house, but I do know that they wanted me dead.
Detective Grant returns to the hospital to question Kimmy
It will take a lot more than setting fire to my house 4 times
and is once again met by a media circus.
from the dirty, rotten drug dealers that have infested our streets.
Great. Good job.
Thank you.
So, Kimmy, I understand you have a sister, which you conveniently left out the first time we spoke.
It must have slipped my mind from the trauma of the fire.
Kimmy reveals that Karen left for Atlantic City with her boyfriend a few days before the arson.
So Kimmy has a sister, Karen, who looks a lot like her, and this is the first investigators are hearing about it? That is a red flag if I've ever seen one. And there's a second red flag. Where is Karen? Her sister Kimmy's face has been plastered all over the news and not even a phone call to check in. Something does not smell right.
Working a hunch, Detective Grant returns to Kimmy's home with the arson team. This time, looking for evidence of a crime the fire was meant to cover up. He discovers a freezer blackened from the fire. and wrapped in what seems to be duct tape. Inside are remains that appear to be human. The fire has melted the freezer seals, letting in the heat and essentially turning the freezer into an oven.
Grant's hunch was right. The fire was a cover-up. This case has gone from arson to a murder investigation like that. The question is, whose baked remains are those in the freezer?
Yeah, I'm looking for the patient in room 4A. She checked herself out.
Against doctor's orders, Kimmy has discharged herself.
Okay, thanks.
Taking with her several large donation checks she received from her well-wishers.
Okay, can we toss out the theory that drug dealers were targeting the house? Clearly something more sinister is going on. Our little Miss Hero Kimmy has some talking to do.
What else do I need? How about a vacation?
Kimmy cashes out on some of that sympathy money. In particular, a $2,500 check from a generous donor.
Find a body, lose a body. This investigation is stalled again. We'd put out a BOLO, or for those not as familiar with police jargon, be on the lookout, to track the victim who may now be a perpetrator, but actually it's two now. Both sisters are unaccounted for. This is an all-points bulletin, and that's APB.
With both Kimmy and Karen missing, the investigation is stalled. But then Detective Grant catches a lucky break.
Please, open up.
He gets a tip that Kimmy has been seen checking into a motel.
Detective Grant, surprised to see you here.
Hi, Kimmy. So, what are you doing here?
Hey, I'm chilling out and I'm relaxing. It was a tough time in the hospital.
Oh, yeah. So I've got a few questions for you.
Okay.
Maybe you'll come downtown, have a little chat.
Again?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I'll just get my things and... All right. Okay.
Whose body's in your freezer?
Oh, Detective, I've told you 100 times already. I don't know whose body is in the freezer.
Detective Grant grills Kimmy for hours.
Well, where's your sister, Karen?
Again, as I've said, she's in Atlantic City.
Atlantic City.
Yes.
Okay.
But Kimmy insists
she's
that
doing
she
that
doesn't
down
know
there.
where in Atlantic City Karen is staying and has no way of contacting her.
I'll be back.
With the interrogation sitting at a stalemate, a surprising document falls into Detective Grant's lap. Turns out, another family member who lives in a different town has filed a missing persons report on Kimmy.
What?
Because family members haven't seen or heard from her in over a month.
I'd like to think that we can get the facts straight as investigators were able to see the forest for the trees. But even I'm confused by this one. The woman sitting in the interrogation room is Kimmy. But now there's a missing persons report for Kimmy. Then who is sitting in that chair in the interrogation room?
Yeah, it's Grant. This report, is this for real?
When Detective Grant receives the autopsy report, things go from strange to bizarre. The coroner has determined the body in the freezer has been stabbed multiple times, then chopped up with an axe, bagged, and stuffed into the freezer over a month ago.
You're sure about this?
The coroner also has ID on the body.
All right. who are you?
Excuse me, I'm Kimmy.
I just got off the phone with the coroner. That body in your freezer, that's Kimmy.
That can't be. They must have made a mistake.
The autopsy report states that the body parts lying in the morgue belong to Kimmy. And yet, even when confronted with this evidence, she stands by her story.
This situation is particularly strange because you have someone who's been on TV all over the nation, a case the FBI would call a special, a high-profile case that can possibly speed up solving the crime. First, Kimmy's the victim of a crime by supposed drug dealers. Then she's reported as missing when she clearly isn't. Now she's supposed to be dead, lying on a slab in the morgue. Is Kimmy really Karen, or is Karen really Kimmy?
The only way to prove who is with fingerprints. But to get a match, whoever Kimmy really is will have to have a criminal record with prints on file.
So, you want to tell me what Kimmy was doing in your freezer?
Unlike people, fingerprints don't lie. Kimmy's prints match those of a woman arrested for prostitution 10 years earlier. And wait for it, the prints belong to none other than the elusive sister, Karen. Single white female, anyone?
Faced with the incontrovertible proof of her identity, the woman claiming to be Kimmy comes clean.
All right. I'm Karen. Look at Kimmy baking again.
I'm making your favorite chocolate chip.
Oh, that's really sweet of you. Listen, I met this guy.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Oh, yeah, maybe. And I need some money. I'm out of money.
Oh, Karen, I just gave you $400.
Well, that was 2 days ago, Kimmy. Come on, you know how it is.
I'm really tired of this. I am. Would you just stop drinking?
No, I'm not gonna stop drinking. I think I'll have another one.
No.
Don't touch me! All I want is some money. Don't you touch me again.
I'm not giving you any more money.
But there's another twist in store for detectives.
I swear to you, on my mother's best china, I did not kill my sister, Kimmy.
I don't buy it, Karen. You're the only one who had anything to gain by her death. You gotta come clean.
It wasn't me.
Detective Grant charges Karen with murder and fraud.
It turns out Karen was impersonating her sister Kimmy, and a big part of the reason she was able to get away with it for so long is that the sisters looked a lot alike. But once you've caught a perp red-handed, finding out the rest of the story is just knocking the first domino down.
Under mounting pressure in the courtroom and faced with the undeniable evidence against her, Kimmy finally cracks and spills the beans on the entire sordid affair. Kimmy was tired of being Karen's meal ticket, and when she learned her sister had forged her signature to cash 4 of her annuity checks.
What are these?
It's no big deal, they're checks. They're just checks.
They're checks with my name on them.
She threatens to cut her off.
It's over.
What do you mean it's over?
I want you out.
To the outside world, the look-alike sisters appear close. But in reality, Karen harbors a deep-seated resentment towards Kimmy.
After all that I've done?
I'm so tired of hearing about everything that you've done for me. You're right, I'm a worthless piece of cow manure.
She envies her success and money, and she's not happy with the meager allowance Kimmy gives her.
Get out!
This is my house too.
When Karen saw her personal ATM closing its doors, she came up with a new retirement plan. If Kimmy wasn't going to take care of Karen, then Karen was going to take care of Kimmy. As far as motives go, this is one we see every day: greed. Karen wanted Kimmy's annuities and the fire insurance money. What we don't see every day is someone cutting up their sister, putting the pieces in a freezer, and then setting the house on fire. that takes it to the next level. I'm no psychologist, but the word I have for a person who can do that with no remorse is psychopath.
Karen had assumed Kimmy's identity, allowing her access to her sister's insurance policies, bank accounts, and retirement checks. The media attention and cash donations from well-wishers was a happy bonus.
Karen had everyone fooled for the short time she was Kimmy, despite the fact that the lookalike sisters had completely different personalities. And she really was a chameleon, able to change herself into who she needed to be to get what she wanted, and that is, at least until she got caught.
In the act of burning the family home for insurance money, Karen herself got burned. Karen is found guilty of murder and fraud-related charges. She's sentenced to life without the chance of parole.
In all my years as an investigator, I've seen a lot of truly bizarre cases. But a sister killing her own sister and then impersonating her for money, and then become famous for it? She's a fiery one. She had everyone duped, and it was bold, I'll give her that. But that kind of daring doesn't last for long. The law always wins.